Heartland Season 19 Episode 3 is the one that really shakes things up. You can tell from the very first scene that something's off. Like everyone's pretending to be fine, but deep down, they're all falling apart. This episode isn't about the big ranch moments or the horse rescues. It's about emotions boiling under the surface, secrets getting harder to hide, and relationships being pushed right to the edge. Every character's mask starts to crack a little, and honestly, it feels like Heartland just stepped into a whole new level of drama this season. Amy's still trying to keep everything together, but you can see the guilt written all over her face. After Lindy saw that moment between her and Nathan, nothing's been the same. Amy's forcing smiles, overcompensating with sweetness, and pretending she's got it all under control, but she doesn't. Every move she makes feels heavier now. She's scared of losing Lindy's trust, but at the same time, she's trying to hold on to this new chapter with Nathan. And the sad part? She's failing at both. Every time she opens her mouth to fix things, it only gets worse. You can tell she's stuck between being the mom Lindy needs and the woman who's still trying to feel something again after losing so much. Nathan, meanwhile, can't catch a break. Like seriously, this man's life is just one long list of bad timing. He's out here limping around with that injured eye, trying to prove he's not just some outsider messing with Amy's peace. But you can see he's carrying this weight, not just physical pain, but that emotional pressure of trying to fit into a story that's not his. The way he interacts with Lindy now? Careful, respectful, but also awkward as hell. He's trying so hard to earn her trust without stepping out of line. Every time Lindy looks at him, you can see him freeze for a second, unsure if she's about to smile or shut him out. It's painful to watch, but you can't really hate him for trying. And Lindy, man, that little girl's been through too much for her age. She's angry, confused, and acting out in ways that Amy just doesn't understand. One minute she's quiet and withdrawn, and the next she's lashing out. But honestly, who can blame her? She lost her father, she's watching her mom fall for someone new, and she feels like no one's listening. That mix of sadness and frustration in her eyes says it all. Amy keeps brushing off her emotions like she's too young to understand. But that's exactly what's pushing her away. Kids might not have the words for it, but they feel everything, every lie, every awkward pause, every broken promise. Then we've got Lou. And I have to say, she's finally stepping into her power again. After calling out Nathan's sister for scamming customers, she's standing her ground more than ever. But that move didn't come without consequences. The tension between them this episode is thick. You can almost feel the air freeze every time they're in the same room. Lou's keeping it professional on the surface, but you can tell she's ready for a fight if it comes to that. Nathan's sister, on the other hand, is still out here playing innocent, smiling through her guilt like she didn't just jeopardize their entire business. And honestly, I'm waiting for the moment Lou finally snaps. Because you know it's coming, and when it does, it's going to be brutal. What's interesting though, is how Nathan gets caught right in the middle of it all. He's trying to keep peace between his sister and Lou while also dealing with Amy and Lindy. Like, this man can't win. Every time he tries to fix one thing, something else blows up. He's stretched thin, physically, emotionally, all of it. And you can tell it's starting to get to him. There's a moment in this episode where he just stops for a second. Like he's realizing maybe he doesn't belong here after all. That quiet, defeated look says more than any line of dialogue could. But let's not pretend Amy's got it any easier. She's overanalyzing everything, trying to make peace with Lindy, balance her feelings for Nathan, and still act like she's fine for everyone else around her. And yet, for the first time, you see cracks in that calm, confident Amy Fawade. She's distracted, emotional, and completely unsure of herself. It's almost like she's realizing that love, no matter how genuine, can't fix everything. Especially not when her daughter's still hurting. And honestly, that's what makes episode 3 so powerful. It's not about grand gestures or happy endings. It's about messy emotions and the quiet ways people fall apart. The way Lindy's silence hurts more than words. The way Amy's trying to smile through guilt. The way Nathan's trying to be good enough for a family that's not his. All those little things build up until it feels like someone's about to explode. And you just know this is only the beginning. Because if this episode taught us anything, it's that no one at Heartland is ready for what's coming next. Things only get heavier as the episode moves forward. Amy's walking around Heartland trying to act normal, but it's written all over her. She's tense, distracted, and constantly somewhere else in her head. Every conversation she has feels like it's layered with something unsaid. You can see she wants to talk to Lindy about Nathan again, maybe clear the air. But she's terrified of making it worse. That's the thing about guilt. It keeps you quiet even when silence is the last thing you need. And that's exactly what's happening here. Amy's silence is creating a wall between her and her daughter. One that's getting harder to tear down by the minute. Meanwhile, Nathan's trying to do his part. He knows Amy's struggling, so he starts planning little ways to fix things, helping around the ranch, being there for Lindy, trying to show he's not the bad guy in this situation. But the more he tries, the more awkward it gets. Lindy doesn't say much, but that look in her eyes says it all. She doesn't trust him yet, and she's not ready to forgive her mom either. You can feel how heavy the air gets every time the three of them are in the same space. It's like no one knows what to say, so they all just pretend to be fine until it falls apart again. And of course, it doesn't help that the rest of the family starts noticing something's off. Lou, as usual, is the first one to call it out. She's always had that sixth sense when it comes to Amy. Like she can see through her even when Amy's smiling. She tries to talk to her to get her to open up, but Amy shuts it down fast. She doesn't want advice, she doesn't want judgment. And she definitely doesn't want Lou telling her how to handle her daughter. But you can see that spark in Lou's eyes. She's not gonna drop it. She's concerned, but she's also frustrated. Because she knows Amy's walking straight into another emotional mess while that's brewing. The drama with Nathan's sister blows up again. Remember how we thought she admitted her mistake and moved on? Yeah, not really. Turns out, she's been hiding something bigger. Lou finds some inconsistencies in the accounts, and when she digs a little deeper, she realizes the scam wasn't just a one-time thing, it's been going on longer than anyone knew. And this time, Lou's done playing nice. She doesn't even bother going through Nathan. She confronts his sister head-on, and let me tell you, it gets ugly fast. Words are said, accusations fly, and that calm professional front disappears completely. Lou's tired of cleaning up other people's messes, and this was her breaking point. The best part? Nathan walks in right in the middle of it. He doesn't even know what's going on at first, but when he realizes his sister's been lying again, you can see the heartbreak all over him. He's embarrassed, angry, but mostly disappointed. He defends her at first, because that's what he always does. But this time even he knows she's gone too far. You can tell he's torn. He wants to protect his family. But he's also realizing that defending her means losing the respect of everyone else at Heartland. Especially Lou and Amy, it's that helpless moment where no matter what choice he makes, he's going to lose something. And while all this chaos is unfolding, Amy gets hit with another emotional curveball, Lindy's school calls. Apparently, Lindy's been acting out again, getting into small fights and refusing to participate in class. It's a wake-up call Amy can't ignore anymore. She can't keep pretending everything's fine when her daughter's clearly crying out for help. And that's when it finally hits her. She's been so focused on keeping Nathan and her new life steady that she completely overlooked how much pain Lindy's been carrying. That guilt comes crashing down, and you can almost feel it through the screen. It's not loud or dramatic, it's quiet and painful. The kind of realization that breaks you from the inside. Nathan, seeing Amy like that, tries to step up again. He suggests doing something small, a picnic, some family time, just to bring a little bit of peace back into the house. Amy hesitates at first, but eventually agrees, hoping maybe it'll help rebuild that bridge with Lindy. But deep down, you know it's not going to be that simple. Because the problem isn't about one bad day or one awkward kiss, it's about trust. Lindy doesn't trust this new version of her mom yet. She doesn't trust Nathan's intentions. And honestly, she doesn't even trust the world around her anymore. That's a lot for a kid to deal with, and Amy's only now realizing how far gone things really are. The episode does a great job of letting that tension simmer instead of rushing it. Every glance, every silence, every half smile feels like it's loaded with meaning. And by the time we get to the end of this section of the story, you can tell something's coming. The calm before the storm. Because when people keep avoiding hard conversations for too long, those truths don't just disappear, they explode. And Heartland episode 3 is slowly lighting that fuse. The picnic idea sounds good in theory, right? Fresh air, a peaceful day, everyone laughing together, maybe even a small step toward fixing things. But with this family, nothing ever goes that easy. The moment they get there, you can feel the tension. Amy's trying too hard to make it perfect, like she's hoping if she smiles enough, all the problems will magically disappear. Nathan's quiet, probably overthinking every move he makes, and Lindy, she's sitting there with that expression that says she'd rather be anywhere else. The air's thick with awkward silence, and even the sunshine doesn't help. It's one of those moments where everyone's pretending, but nobody's buying it. Amy keeps trying to start small conversations, asking Lindy about school, about her friends. But the kid's not having it. She answers in one-word replies, then stares off like she's somewhere else entirely. You can tell that the wound between them hasn't even begun to heal. Amy's doing her best to keep her voice soft, her tone gentle, but Lindy's walls are up high. That's when Nathan tries to step in, doing what he always does, trying to ease the mood. He starts telling a small story, something about the horses, trying to make Lindy laugh. And for a moment, it actually works. You can see her smile just a little and it feels like hope. But of course, in Heartland fashion, that peace doesn't last long. Out of nowhere, a casual question turns into something deeper. Lindy looks up and asks Nathan, straight-faced, if he's trying to replace her dad. The way that silence drops right after, man, it's brutal. Amy freezes, Nathan doesn't know what to say. And Lindy's eyes are already glassy with tears she's trying to hide. It's one of those moments that just cuts deep because it's so honest. Nathan's careful with his answer, he doesn't rush it. He tells her no one could ever replace her dad, that he's just trying to be her friend. Someone who cares about both of them. And you can tell he means it. But for Lindy, words aren't enough. She just turns away, quietly saying she wants to go home. That tiny moment says everything, that she's not ready, that Amy pushed too soon. That love doesn't heal things on command. Back at Heartland, the silence continues. Amy feels that guilt creeping back again, heavier this time. She knows she forced something that wasn't ready, and now she's worried she made it worse. You can see that conflict tearing her up. She wants to move forward. But she keeps getting dragged back by everything she hasn't dealt with. It's not just about Lindy anymore. It's about Amy herself. She's been trying to fill a void without admitting that she's still broken. And this episode shows that in the smallest, most human ways, through her pauses, her stares. The way her voice shakes when she tries to sound calm. Nathan's in the same boat. Just a different side of the mess. He goes home that night, sits alone, and for the first time, you can tell he's questioning everything. Whether he's doing the right thing by being around Amy and Lindy. Whether he's just making their lives harder. He's always been the fixer, the steady hand, the one who tries to hold things together. But right now, he feels like the problem. And when you see that look on his face, that quiet heartbreak, it's clear he's thinking about pulling away completely. Meanwhile, Lou's still dealing with the fallout from that business fight. The news about Nathan's sister spreads faster than she expected. And now it's threatening to stain Heartland's reputation. People are starting to whisper, asking if they can really trust the brand again. And even though Lou did the right thing, it still looks messy from the outside. It's that classic situation where being honest makes you look like the villain. But Lou's not backing down. She doubles down instead, telling anyone who'll listen that Heartland doesn't hide corruption, even if it's family. That moment right there? That's growth. She's finally learning to put integrity before image, even if it costs her relationships. Back to Amy, she decides she can't let things with Lindy stay like this. She walks into her daughter's room, sits on the edge of the bed, and just starts talking. No sugarcoating, no excuses, just raw honesty. She admits she messed up, that she should have been more careful, more honest, and that Lindy's feelings matter. It's a short conversation, but it's powerful. Because for once, Amy's not trying to fix things, she's just owning her mistakes. Lindy listens, quiet at first, but you can see her walls start to crack. There's still pain, still anger, but also that small spark of understanding. It's not forgiveness yet, but it's a start. The episode balances that emotional side perfectly with everything else happening around the ranch. You can feel the storm building. Everyone's dealing with their own battles. Lou's fighting for Heartland's name. Nathan's fighting for his place in this family, and Amy's fighting for her daughter's trust. And the best part? None of it feels forced. It's also natural, so painfully human that you forget it's just a show. Every scene feels like watching real people trying to figure out how to live again after loss, betrayal, and guilt. By the time this section wraps up, one thing's clear: the peace everyone's pretending to have is fragile. Too fragile. Because when you hold too many secrets for too long, they don't just fade, they explode. And trust me, the next part of episode 3? That's where the real fallout begins. Things start to unravel fast after that. The calm that Amy thought she found with Lindy suddenly fades when reality hits again. Just as she's trying to piece things back together, life at Heartland throws another curveball. Lou's still knee-deep in damage control, Nathan's drowning in guilt. And Amy's realizing that moving forward isn't as easy as just saying sorry. You can feel the tension rising in every corner of the ranch. Conversations get shorter, eyes avoid contact, and even the horses seem restless. Like they can feel the storm that's coming. Nathan tries to give Amy space, but that only makes things worse. She starts reading too much into his silence, thinking maybe he's already done with all this drama. The truth is, Nathan's trying to figure out what the right thing even looks like anymore. He cares about Amy and Lindy, that's obvious, but at the same time, he can't shake the feeling that his presence is tearing them apart. It's that quiet kind of heartbreak, the one where you love someone enough to step back, even when it kills you. So he starts to distance himself, thinking maybe that'll help them heal. But the thing is, Amy notices. She always does. And instead of feeling relieved, she feels abandoned all over again. That's when everything she's been holding in starts spilling out. She gets short-tempered, distracted, snapping at Lou and even at Jack for the smallest things. It's like all that guilt and confusion is boiling over. And poor Lindy? She's watching her mom fall apart again, and that only adds to her own confusion. The kid just wants stability. But all she's seeing are more cracks forming in the foundation she's supposed to stand on. The writers really nailed that emotional cycle here. How one broken moment just leads to another until nobody remembers how it all started. Meanwhile, Lou's fight with Nathan's sister reaches a breaking point. Lou calls her out again, this time in front of a few ranch workers. And the argument blows wide open. They're shouting accusations. And everyone finally gets to see who Nathan's sister really is beneath that calm smile. And honestly, she's even worse than we thought. Instead of owning up again, she doubles down, saying Lou's just jealous. That she's trying to control everything. It's wild, but also exactly the kind of drama Heartland fans didn't know they needed this season. Lou doesn't even flinch though. She stands her ground like the boss she is, reminding everyone that integrity matters more than pride. That moment right there? That's Lou at her best, finally standing up not just for herself, but for what Heartland represents. But that public fight ends up dragging Nathan back into the mess. He gets cornered again, forced to choose between loyalty and what's right. You can see him struggling with it. Torn between the family he was born into and the family he's slowly building here. And this time, he chooses differently. He sides with Lou, quietly but firmly, saying that he can't defend something that hurts people he respects. It's a small moment, but it speaks volumes. For once, Nathan's putting his own peace above his family's bad habits. And that decision? It's about to cost him more than he knows. After that confrontation, Amy and Nathan finally talk, and it's not pretty. It's one of those late-night, quiet conversations that hits harder than yelling ever could. Amy asks him why he's been distant, and he tells her straight up. He doesn't want to make things worse for her or Lindy. It's honest, it's raw, and it's painful. Because neither of them wants to admit what's obvious, that love alone might not be enough. To fix this, Amy breaks down, finally admitting how lost she feels. She says she doesn't even know what's right anymore. Whether to fight for Nathan or focus on being the mother Lindy needs. And Nathan, being who he is, doesn't push her. He just listens, quietly, with that same calm energy that somehow makes it all even sadder. By this point in the episode, everything feels fragile. You can tell everyone's emotions are hanging by a thread. Jack, who's usually the voice of reason, even he looks worried. He sees what's happening to Amy and tries to reach out in his own quiet way, reminding her that she can't fix everyone. That sometimes the only thing she can do is be there and let things fall into place. It's simple advice, but it hits hard because it's true. Amy's been trying to control every outcome, and it's finally catching up to her. Then comes one of the most emotional moments in the episode. That late scene between Amy and Lindy. Lindy's in bed, half asleep, and Amy just sits beside her, brushing her hair back. She doesn't say much, just whispers a quiet apology and tells her she loves her more than anything. It's soft, heartbreaking, and the kind of moment that reminds you why this show has lasted so long. Because underneath all the drama and heartbreak, it's still about family, forgiveness, and the messy ways people find their way back to each other. But don't let that calm ending fool you. Because just when it feels like things might finally settle down, the preview for what's coming next drops a bombshell. Something's about to happen that'll shake Heartland even deeper. Something none of them are ready for. And trust me, it's going to change everything. Heartland Season 19 Episode 3 closes out in that kind of quiet before the storm way that makes you feel uneasy even when things seem calm. You know that feeling when everyone's pretending everything's fine, but deep down, you can tell it's not. That's exactly where Amy finds herself now. After that emotional talk with Lindy, she tries to move forward. But her eyes tell a different story. She's exhausted, not just from the day, but from the constant push and pull between trying to fix everyone else's problems and ignoring her own pain. There's this stillness around her, but it's not peace. It's that heavy kind of silence that comes right before something breaks. The next morning at the ranch, things feel off. The air's tense, everyone's quiet, and even the animals seem to sense something's wrong. Amy's out by the stables when Lou comes over, looking more serious than we've seen her in a while. She doesn't waste time. She tells Amy she got a call late last night, something about Nathan. And that's when everything shifts. Turns out, Nathan's family isn't done making trouble. His sister's been stirring up more drama behind the scenes, spreading rumors, twisting stories, trying to make Amy look like the problem. It's messy, it's cruel, and it's the last thing Amy needs. But here's what hits even harder. Nathan's gone. Not gone like left town forever, but gone like he just needed to disappear for a bit. No message, no explanation, just gone. His truck's missing, his phone's off, and nobody's heard from him since that late night talk. And for Amy, that silence cuts deep. Because as much as she told herself she didn't want to depend on anyone, she'd started to believe maybe Nathan was the one person who wouldn't leave. So when he vanishes like that, it reopens every wound she's been trying to heal. Lou's trying to keep things steady, telling Amy not to jump to conclusions. But you can see she's worried too. The whole ranch feels different without Nathan's presence. That calm balance he brought is just gone. Jack notices it too. He's not saying much, but you can tell he's uneasy. He's seen people run before and he knows it never ends clean. He just hopes Nathan's disappearance isn't what it looks like. Then comes this powerful scene. Amy walks out to the pasture at sunset, watching the horses run, and it's like you can see the storm inside her reflected in that sky. She starts talking to herself quietly, saying she's tired of losing people.